Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. Hold on. I had to clear my throat there for a second there, TJ. Welcome into the show. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Tennessee Titans season preview, talking about their schedule, talking about their free agency, talking about their draft, talking about their storylines for the 2023 Tennessee Titans. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And also, TJ, big shout out to you. Got your certification in the mail today. Very proud of you, my friend. Or is it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
My bad, man. Yesterday. Very proud of you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But very, very proud of you, buddy. So I'm happy for you, man. Hopefully you end up taking that, doing good, big things with it. So I'm proud of you, my friend.
Thank you.
But let's talk about the Tennessee Titans. Let's just jump right into the storylines. What is the plan? That's the number one storyline for the Tennessee Titans in 2020. What is the plan? TJ, what is it? You take quarterbacks in the top 3 rounds in back-to-back years. You still have Ryan Tannehill. You still have Derrick Henry. You basically dismantle what was a really good offensive line. What is the plan? Can you tell me? Can anyone tell me? If you're a Tennessee Titans fan, put it in the comments section. What is the plan?
I don't even think they know.
What is it?
It's kind of sad because this was a team that honestly not that long ago was in a AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
The other crazy thing, there isn't like the pieces on this team they haven't changed all that much. Like
exactly, like this was a AFC Championship team a couple not that long ago, and obviously that game. If there was a season to move off of Ryan Tannehill, it was probably after that one because you saw his limitations. Because when you couldn't give the ball to Derrick Henry as much as you wanted to because you got down big in that game and Ryan Tannehill's arm had to, wheel you back into it, it's like, all right, he's not the guy to get us over the top. That should have been the offseason to plan the future and plan to get off of Ryan Tannehill. To your point, you went back-to-back years and you got quarterbacks in back-to-back years, back-to-back third-round picks.
Actually, Will Levis, I think, was a second-round pick this past season.
Same, whatever. The issue is still the same, right? Malik Willis is definitely more of the project between the two, if that's fair. I also think that as much as I respect Mike Vrabel, I think it comes back to him. You don't have a plan, or you don't have the people around you that can develop one of these quarterbacks the way you want them to develop. Because, again, Ryan Tannehill, you want to move off Ryan Tannehill, but you can't. Right? Unless you want to be in the Caleb Williams, Drake May sweepstakes. If that's the plan, then hey, do it right. Like, don't half-ass it.
If that is the plan, you shouldn't have taken Will Levis in the second round in this season draft. I don't think there is a plan in Tennessee. I think they're just going to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, and they're just going to hope some of it sticks. Because I don't think they have any idea what they're doing. Like, I don't. Go ahead.
I don't see they shouldn't have took a quarterback. The Cardinals took Josh Rosen, and then the following year, what they do? Did they not draft Kyler Murray?
Yeah, I mean,
getting a quarterback.
I mean, they had the first overall pick, and they got a second round pick back for Josh Rosen. They got
they had the first overall pick. They didn't have to draft Kyler Murray with that pick.
Yeah, but I just don't think the Titans are going to have the first overall pick.
We don't know that.
I think they'll be better. I mean, they could have the first overall pick. Oh, I can.
We don't know that. So to everything you're saying right now, we don't know that. So yeah, if don't act like oh, we got this quarterback. We can't get another. Like, yeah, you can. The Seahawks paid Matt Flynn and drafted Russell Wilson. The
That's
Cardinals
true.
drafted Josh Rosen, and then literally the following year drafted Kyler Murray when they didn't have to. Like they had the first. They could have went any direction with that first overall pick. They could have traded it away. They could have did a bunch of stuff with it, but they went with Kyler Murray, and this is where we are.
I mean, the Bears just went through the same thing. I mean, they could have easily taken another quarterback. They decided not to. They decided to trade that pick away.
To.
They decided that not to. They had the first overall pick. I'm just not sure what the plan is here in Tennessee. I think you still have some solid pieces here. I mean, Derrick Henry's still here. I mean, you could get some decent draft capital return for him if you might decided you wanted to move off of him. They haven't done that. But I'm also not sure what his value is. And a running back that has that many miles is based on what has gone on with running backs recently.
Oh, you can get something. You can get something for Derrick Henry. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, I mean, but the secondary is wishy-washy at best. I know they signed Sean Burfing-Bunting, who we'll get to, but this is a secondary that's been weak. I mean, they have a wide receiving core. No matter who the quarterback is going to be, this wide receiving core doesn't instill you with that much confidence. Speaking of the next storyline, I mean, who is going to consistently catch passes for this team out of the wide receiver or tight end room? I mean, I'm not instilled with confidence on any of these guys. Traylon Burks had a solid rookie season,
and that's who it has to be. It has to be
obviously.
It has to be Traylon Burks. It's. I know he had a rough start to the season last year. Like they were some, like he got hate out the gate because he goes to rookie mini camp and they're like, oh, he's slow. It's like that was his first time running from the end of the season.
He got like dehydrated. Everybody wanted to get him.
Like that was his first time running.
Welcome to the show, Israel Rivera, CEO of Prime Sports World. Welcome to the show, my friend.
What's going on, guys?
Since we moved on to you want to weigh into what the plan is for the Tennessee Titans, real quick. What do you think the plan is?
You know what? I caught a little bit of what TJ was. I was going ahead and sharing the show and all that, but I'm along with what you guys are on. Like I don't know. They don't. They drafted their second franchise quarterback in back-to-back years.
Back-to-back years.
Yeah, and I don't know. You went ahead and traded AJ Brown. Hopefully Treylon Burks can end up being that person, as that goes into your second question: who's going to catch passes from whoever the quarterback is going to be? Right?
It does say consistently.
So I guess my thing is here is that I don't know. I think Derrick Henry is worth a lot. If you blow it up and you can find out somehow get some draft compensation or something back for Derrick Henry, I'd go that route. In my opinion, I'd go that route. I mean, you have a few good players on defensively, but I'd blow it up all the way off because I don't think Derrick Henry's going to be happy in Tennessee. He's going to be wanting to get out of there anyways.
I mean, like they hosted what's his name? They hosted DeAndre Hopkins on the visit. I think more signs indicate him signing in New England more than anything. It's just it's a mess. Like it's a mess and a half. And like it's crazy when you consider like Mike Vrabel has had that team so well oiled and playing right. It's just like you hate to see it. Like I don't know how. I honestly think like this is his first bit of adversity. Like how do you handle this? Like because the team is going to be bad. Team's going to be bad. So how do you handle teams like players questioning basically your competence? Like again, this is a team that went to the AFC Championship. Like this is a AFC Championship caliber coach.
I mean, we're only one season removed from them being the number one seed in the AFC.
Like exactly, like he did that.
Mm-hmm.
So to go from that to what you are now, you're looking at like folks are talking about you having a top, what would you say, top 5 pick?
So
like, probably. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to be the most good. It's got to be Traylon Burks.
All right, go ahead.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you know which running back has the most carries per season in the last 5 years?
Well, it's got to be
Is it
Derrick
Henry?
One
Henry.
more such. Definitely Derrick Henry. Definitely Derrick Henry. So I'd honestly, I mean, we got to assume that body might break down at some point. So that's why you got Tajay Spears. That's why you got the other
Sean
young boy
Haskins.
that you drafted. Yeah, Hassan Haskins. So I have to think here that he's gonna be unhappy. He's gonna want to go play for a winner. He's not gonna be wanting to rebuild with the new quarterback. Derrick Henry's gonna be chirping. I'd say you got to trade him, and you got to see what you could get back for him.
And I think they have some pieces on defense, like Jericho Simmons. I
Yeah.
think has Jeffrey Simmons, who has some decent value there. Danico Autry is a guy. Harold Landry III is coming off of, what is it, Achilles tear or an ACL this past
Because if
offseason.
you could do a nice draft overhaul in the next couple years and build this thing right, you can really be right back in the AFC title picture, especially if you get the quarterback position right. And I think right now where Derrick Henry's at, we gotta only assume that he's gonna be on the downside here, right? With all those
I mean, on top of that, I mean, he's already on the bad side of running back age. Like,
No, he's not.
Right.
Like, he's not.
No, he just turned 29. He's only 29.
Yeah, but he's probably not, like, if this team decides to rebuild, like, he won't be on the timeline of whatever quarterback they bring in, whatever reset they do on the timeline. Then real quick, talking about Mike Vrabel. This guy went from a head coach to a team that was winning the AFC South almost every single year. This is going to be a rough stretch here for Tennessee Titans football because they don't really seem to have an identity. Their front office doesn't seem to know what they really want to do with, like, either rebuild or continue to be competitive. Is Mike Vrabel getting sort of an unfair deal here as his contract starts to wind down with the Tennessee Titans?
Well, yes and no, because, like, if you look at how last season went, you got off to a hot start, right? You started 7-3, and you lost the division. Like, you started off 7-3. You lost 7 straight. Like, that's so. Yeah, like, it comes back to the coach. The coach can only do so much with the talent that he has, but at the same time, like, it's a double-edged sword. You got to coach those guys up to play well because, again, you got also a good start. You were 7-3. Then all of a sudden you lose 7 straight and you finish 7-10, and it's like, coach, what the hell happened?
Well, a lot of that is connected to Ryan Tannehill going down. They didn't win another game after he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then that goes to the front office.
I think Mike Vrabel I think he's going to get a rough deal here. I can see a scenario where, like, maybe they want to move off of Mike Vrabel based on the season where they put him in a situation to not be successful in the first place, and then they're going to potentially fire him for it. I think it's going to be a tough deal here for Mike Vrabel.
Like, it's a tough break, but that goes back to the front office because then Ryan Tannehill gets injured. All right, Malik Willis, prove to us that you could be the guy, and however unfair you want it to sound, didn't do it. Like the 3 big injuries were him, with Tannehill, Taylor Lewan missed 15 games, and then David mentioned Harold Landry tore his Achilles, didn't play at all. So yeah, it was tough sledding. It was tough sledding.
I think with this team, I think if they are going to go on a rebuild, I think Grable may not be the long-term coach, for that rebuild. So just for that reason alone, he's definitely going to get an unfair deal, especially for what he's done. I mean, this franchise before he got there, I mean, how many years before they made it to an AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
Before that, was it 2001?
We're talking about the
we talking about Aaron McNair days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
what was it when they lost the Super Bowl to the Rams?
Yeah, when they lost the Super Bowl to the Rams. So it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck seeing that. But I think he'll get a job elsewhere.
I agree with you
Lickety
on that.
Split, yeah.
Moving on from the Tennessee Titans, let's talk about their storylines. Let's talk about their draft. Obviously, they took Peter Skoronski, number 1 over 11th overall. They took Will Levis in the second round. They took Tajay Spears, running back out of Tulane. Josh Wiley, tight end in Cincinnati. Jalen Duncan, offensive tackle out of Maryland. And Colton Dowell, wide receiver, Tennessee Martin. Man,
Tennessee, HBCU.
Yeah. What do we think about their draft? Really headlined by Peter Skoronsky. Right now they have him listed on their depth chart at guard. He probably translates as a guard in the NFL based on some stuff going on. But what do we think about their draft in general?
Well, I think to get Peter Skronsky at 11 was an absolute steal. This was a dude that was garnishing not like top 5 status in this past draft. I'm not speaking hyperbole. Like, he was lauded as, what is he, the second best offensive lineman in the draft by most?
Yeah,
behind what's his name?
Him, Paris Johnson.
Yeah, behind Paris Johnson out of Ohio State.
There was even a point in this draft process where he was the number one tackle in this draft class by far.
By far, right? So to get him at 11 is an absolute steal. And obviously, because of how the game is played, right? Will Levis is coming in like, hey, bro, like this is kind of your QB job to lose. Like, you got to come in, you got to hit the ground running fast and hard. Like, forget Ryan Tannehill, forget Malik Willis. You got to come in and show like, hey, this is my job. Y'all my backups. You ain't gotta say it like that, but that's the attitude you gotta have. Like, I'm serious. Like, I would not be surprised one iota if Will Levis, if I get a notification, Will Levis named Week 1 starter against whoever the hell the Titans opened up the season with.
They're playing against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans in Week 1.
Like, you can't. Like, we're getting to a point where I despise him for how some of his logic, but Colin Cowherd, he brings up a lot of good points mostly about today's young quarterbacks. Today's young quarterbacks are going into high school and college with anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 pass attempts already because of all the QB camps they get to go to. The amount of 7-on-7 and stuff that's being played today is insane. Like, so it's like, from jump, if a quarterback, like if a young dude can play quarterback at the next level as they continue to progress throughout their careers. Like, it's like Will Levis, I forgot what he started off at school, but he ended up transferring to Kentucky, right? Is he?
Yeah.
Like, didn't he transfer there?
I believe he was a transfer to Kentucky. Yes.
Hold on, let me pull it up right now.
Penn State.
Yeah, but anyways,
Penn State.
Yeah, he went to Penn State Penn State for 2018 to 2022. Then went to Kentucky for 2 years.
Yeah. So yeah, if I'm looking at their draft as go ahead, TJ, finish.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so like I'm going to their draft. I like their draft. It's I don't want to say the quarterback's a straight up fire need. Obviously, I think this is where I would have went with their draft if I was Tennessee.
Go ahead.
Just because I know that next year's draft I could potentially have, Drake May, Jordan Travis, or Caleb Williams, right? So I would have never even picked the quarterback here if I was Tennessee. I actually would have went with Jackson Smith and Jugba. No. Yeah, I would have went Jackson Smith and Jugba, a wide receiver first pick. Then I would have went with the offensive lineman, like a Joe Tippmann, somebody that was still there where you pick Will Levis. Then round 3, you're getting Tajay Spears. Brother, Tajay Spears is a good running back.
That's a steal.
That's a steal in round 3. I only want to talk about their first 3 picks. So, but when I look at it as a whole, Peter Skoronsky because they need offensive linemen, and he's one of the better needs. Will Levis, you don't need, but you can already tell by Malik Willis that he's not a pro quarterback, a starting pro caliber quarterback.
I mean, yeah, that game against the Chiefs was rough.
So you're gonna need a quarterback this year, next year, maybe, possibly. But I would have held off on the QB, TJ, David, and I would have been like, you know what, I'm gonna just roll out Tannehill or whatever makeshift QB I could bring in here, and then I'm gonna trade Derrick Henry and get more picks, and then I'm gonna be terrible, and then decide what I want to do with my coach in the offseason, and then I'm gonna go get me a franchise quarterback because I'm probably gonna be picking in the top 5 next year.
That's how I would have addressed it as well. If I'm the Tennessee Titans, I like this. The division belongs to the Jaguars. Only one team is going into the playoffs from this division because it's notoriously a terrible division.
And they've benefited from that too. Like
100%, yeah.
For some years, like you were the best team in this division. The Jags were a mess. The Colts have been a mess since Andrew Luck said, "I'm retiring," and the Texans are the Texans. So yeah, like they have surely benefited from the fact that the other teams in the division are trash. All we got to do is win 8. We got to win 8 games, and we are in. Like a team will have to come to us for a playoff game.
But I mean, rolling the dice on this offensive lineman. I mean, the depth there at the tackle position. The tight end from Cincinnati is 6'6", 248 pounds. He could be used as a slot option, whatever they decide to do here with their football team. And then the wide receiver, 6'3", 215 pounds, speed, versatility.
Special teams.
And they haven't really had they really haven't had a quality tight end since Jonnu Smith got released or whatever they did with him.
Well, he got signed by the New England Patriots. They did have they had Austin Hooper last year, who was solid.
Practice team. Is that what I think of 6th and 7th round practice team? Special teams. Those are the 6th and 7th round picks. Like as we get into it, when you want to talk about it.
Moving on from the draft, let's talk about free agency. They obviously they went out and spent some money on Andre Dillard. He was a guy who was kind of fell out of the rotation there in Philadelphia. He was at one time the starting left tackle for a very good Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. He gets hurt and basically replaced, and now he's a member of the Tennessee Titans. They go on and get Arden Key. They got Aziz Al-Shire, the linebacker from San Francisco. Arden Key came.
I like that.
Jags. Yeah,
I like him.
He's a good football player. Their key departures.
He fits into what they do.
Nate Davis, Demarcus Walker, Robert Woods, Bud Dupree, Taylor Lewan, who they obviously released last month at some point. What do we think about the additions of their free agency and their roster? They do have some other guys that are like Ben Jones is no longer a part of this team. Zach Cunningham, Randy Bullock, who was their kicker for a long time. Dontrell Hilliard was their change of pace scat back. That's about it. Austin Hooper is no longer here. He's in Vegas. They did pick up Sean Murphy-Bunting, solid corner.
Have nothing like their offense is gonna stink next year. It's gonna be Derrick Henry and Treylon Burks.
I do like Okawano, their tight end, but not enough to like really talk about it more than that.
Chinga Congo. Oh man, me and David were like for a couple of weeks for riding that Okongwu train, wasn't we? Yeah. We were riding that Okongwu train.
Okay, I obviously like you gotta. It depends on again one who's starting that quarterback, and two how you utilize that quarterback to their strength. Like it's you got to do that. Losing Nate Davis in free agency, I think that's tough. Like, welcome to Chicago, Nate Davis. I just want to say that. I don't
Walker's
get
going to the Bears too.
Yeah. Welcome. I'm losing guys like Robert Woods and Bud Dupree and vets like Taylor Lewan. Like the way they did Taylor Lewan was just so bogus, bro. Taylor Lewan goes home and his stuff is in garbage bags on his front porch. That's how he found out he was released.
Wow. You know what? For somebody to do it like that, he must have had some words with the front office. And
like,
he's probably one of the guys who should be in the Ring of Honor someday.
Like he pulled up to his house. He pulls up to his house, and his stuff was delivered to the front porch in garbage bags. That's how they did Taylor Lewan, who's been
This is the first time me hearing this.
Who was a staple.
Yeah, I heard that before too. So,
he was
incredible.
A staple. He was a staple. He was a staple of that franchise ever since he got there. And I know David knows that sounds familiar. You want to know why? Because the WWE does their guys like that too. Like David knows all too. Like that's how they remember Mickey James. David. That's how they did Mickey James.
I remember.
But it's again, what Andre Dillard is. That's not a running back, is he?
No, he's a left tackle.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
so you lose Taylor, Lewan, you bring in Andre Dillard. You already said Peter Skoronsky is listed as a guard, which is probably more suited to him because I think he was undersized as a tackle. Like he's a tackle in college. You go to the NFL, yeah, bro,
Well,
you're a guard.
he was a 4 or 5 star guard / center when he came out of wherever
High
he went to
school.
high school. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's he a college left tackle, right tackle, but in the NFL, yeah, you're a guard. So they kind of reboosted the line a little bit, I guess. But
I mean, there's still the whole problem with whoever's playing center, whoever's right guard and the right tackle. Because I'm not sold on Nicholas Petit-Ferrier, the kid from Ohio State who they took the year before.
well, he
Right
should be
tackle.
getting he should be getting more reps now because I don't know what the status of Harold Landry. I don't know when he's going to be back. I haven't heard anything outside of him being outside of the injury really, and it's a torn Achilles. And torn Achilles usually take how long is he since you tore yours?
Like
He tore his ACL, not his Achilles.
Oh, was it?
10 months ago. So he should be.
So
he should be good.
he should be on track.
He should be on track to start. He tore his Achilles or his ACL before the season even started. I think he was still in training camp, like really early in the process. He should be back by. And I mean, Arden Key is a good edge rusher they can use at the linebacker position.
He's been good of late. But
Al Shire is a good football player, really good football player.
That's who I'm really, excited for their defense, right? They add a guy of that caliber to that defense. Arden Key is going to be the other edge rusher, inside linebacker. Yeah. So yeah, no, him, Harold Landry. I mean, this is going to be a formidable linebacking crew. And Al Shazier is a guy, man, sideline to sideline, is bringing that wood.
Because if I'm not mistaken, they run a 3-4. I could be wrong though.
It is a 3-4.
They do run a 3-4. They do run a
3-4. Two edges, and they got defensive tackle.
2 edges and 2 middle linebackers.
And then they run 4 linebackers.
All right.
Yep. So yeah, so their 4 linebackers are going to be for me. And Arden Key, he's a guy that still young. Finally got some playing time, a little some run with Jacksonville last year. He showed some potential. He had 4.5, 5 sacks last year.
4.5.
Like that.
So yeah, he's had 12.5 sacks over the last 2 seasons. Splitting time between San Francisco and Jacksonville. 6.5 in San Fran. 4.5 last season in Jacksonville. Played all 17 games the last 2 years. He's been a pretty solid football player for those two.
Absolutely. So I
do think 6'5", 240 pounds. He's only 27 years old. Like he's still got something there.
I mean,
I think this defense is gonna be. I think this defense is gonna. It might do some things next year. It might, might shock some people.
I mean, they also boosted the secondary a little bit too. Roger McCreary had a really solid rookie season.
Yeah.
Christian Folk came back healthy off that injury.
Sean
Murphy's running. I mean, Amani Hooker and Kevin Bynard. Kevin Bynard might be the best free safety in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Caleb Farley, if they could get anything out of him, he's been a straight bust.
Caleb Farley,
he's got all the intangibles. I mean, Caleb Farley's fast. He's tall. He's tall.
Cannot stay healthy.
I mean, if there's any coach that can that can make them appear better than what they are, it is Mike Vrabel.
100%. Yep.
He's earned that right. He's earned that right. So let's be fair. Let's give him his just due.
I think the defense is probably going to, at least their front seven, I think is going to be really formidable this season. I mean, the defense as a whole might be really good this year. I mean, it might be the best team in their best defense in their division. Not saying a lot, but
yeah, defense.
You say not saying a lot.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I think they did a pretty solid job here in free agency. I think Andre Dillard is a really good get. He was a really good left tackle. He was
starting for the Eagles for a little bit before he had COVID, right?
Before he got hurt.
I don't expect them to deviate too much from the formula that they've been using, right?
But run Derrick Henry until they can't anymore.
That's basically what the damn offense is going to do this year.
And hope Hassan Haskins can contribute more this year than what he did last year.
That's why they got Tajay Spears.
Yeah.
That's why they
Right.
got
So
Tajay
like
Spears
you
too.
gotta. So because if I'm Mike Vrabel, I gotta look at this thing like, all right, my quarterback play is gonna be concerning, but I don't want to wear Derrick Henry out by the time push come to shove for this season. Because again, it's gonna be down to them in Jacksonville. Like that's how they're looking at this thing, right? I'm not worried about the Colts. I'm not worried about the Texans. It's a 2-man. It's still a 2-man race.
I still think
That's
that Derrick Henry's gone before the season starts.
I think if that trade was going to happen, it would have happened already.
it happened.
Happened at the draft, but
Or at some point. I
But
mean, NFL trades
maybe-
don't regularly happen between now and between the draft and the start of the regular
And
season.
preseason.
It's pretty rare.
yeah, unless he's
Like-
chirping,
And I haven't
But
heard no
I
chirping.
still-
I mean, Derrick Henry
Yeah.
doesn't seem like the kind of guy.
Nah, he
Let's
ain't
swing
chirping.
it. Let's swing into the schedule. Let's talk about it. Let's make a prediction for how they're going to shake out this season. They start the season in the Bayou, going down to New Orleans to take on them New Orleans Saints. Gentlemen, do they beat the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans?
I don't even know. Like, can we say that? I don't know. I don't like. They're gonna go into each game with a question mark. Each game, like, do you know how annoying it's gonna be to be like, all right, who's starting this week? But I'm going no.
I don't think they can beat the New Orleans Saints. I'll take the Saints to win that game. Izzy.
I'm taking the Saints to win that game right off jump.
You know what? Let's just assume for the sake of this, Will Levis is starting the whole season.
Okay. And then let's just go right up into their bye week. Looking at this schedule, there's kind of a gauntlet coming out of here. The first 5-6
kinda rough.
games of the season, the Chargers come to town. They go to Cleveland, Cincinnati Bengals come to town. They go to Indy, and then they take on the Baltimore Ravens in London, which is technically a home game for the Titans. How many of those games of those 5 do they win before their bye?
2,
They're only winning.
maybe 3.
One of those games. They're winning one.
One
They're
of
gonna
those
they're
games.
gonna go.
They're gonna
they'll
beat.
go-
They might
they'll
beat the
go-
Colts.
They go to Indianapolis and beat the Colts. They lose all of the other, all 5 of the other ones.
No, I'm not being that disrespectful. I'm still like Cleveland still.
1-5.
Cleveland's still only better on paper than anything because like until Deshaun Watson proved that he can pass the ball more than 10 yards, yeah, like Cleveland should have very little optimism about their season because you only look nice on paper.
It's true.
I'm being serious.
But I think there is a possibility that Cleveland could add DeAndre Hopkins too. So
nah.
either way, I just don't think that they're going to be good enough to beat any of those teams besides the Colts. I got them at 1-5 coming out of the gates here.
They could probably steal that game against the Chargers because Joey Bosa bound to get hurt early.
Yeah, and same thing with what
Derwin James.
Yeah. Derwin James actually played, I think, all 17 games last season. From there, they go. Atlanta Falcons come to Nissan Stadium to hang out with the Tennessee Titans. I think they get their second win of the season here. They beat Atlanta in Tennessee. Izzy, how do you think this game's going to shake out?
I give them a 3-game win streak.
You got them all. You got all the faith in Atlanta still, don't you?
No, I just took the Titans to win.
Oh, did you? You took the Titans to win? Yeah, I'm going.
They could be looking at a 3-game win streak here. They could be looking.
I was looking at something else, and yeah, I'm going with the Tennessee Titans to win this game off the bye. They're 2-6.
They could be looking at a 3-game win streak. They could easily win the next
2-5. They're 2-5. 2-5.
I got them at 2-5 too. They play the next 3 games on the road. They go to Pittsburgh, they go to Tampa, and they go to Jacksonville. Do they win any of those games? And if so, which ones do they win?
Well, I said 3 because I was including Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and Tampa. Like they could win those 3 games. I have no faith in them beating Jacksonville.
I think they're going to win one of those games. I think they can go to Tampa and beat Tampa Bay. I don't think they have a chance to beat Pittsburgh or Jacksonville. I will book that as 3.
They got a chance to beat. They got a chance
Pittsburgh.
Come on now.
They got a chance to beat Pittsburgh. That's where I'm going. I'm actually going to beat Atlanta.
I like the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. I think they're going to be better.
I'm actually going with them to beat Atlanta, going to Pittsburgh, beat Pittsburgh, going to Tampa, beat Tampa, and
that's
lose.
That's literally the 3 games I said they could win. That's a 3-game win streak.
I'm going to respectfully disagree. I don't think they can beat Pittsburgh. But From there, they go back on the home for 2 games at home. First, they got the
5-5.
Carolina Panthers, and then they got the Indianapolis Colts. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think they win both of those games. Actually, anybody disagree?
Nope.
So they got them at 5 and 7.
So like by this point, Anthony Richardson.
I have them at 7. I have them at 7 and 5 right now because I got them winning. I got them beating Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Tampa, only losing to Jacksonville, beating Carolina, beating Indy. So yeah, I got them. No, actually at 6 and 6 and 6. Yeah, 6-6.
So I got them at 5 and 7, and then they go to South Beach and take on the Miami Dolphins.
Next.
Yeah, I think they lose that game. I got them at 5 and 8. And then they wrap up the season with the last 4 games of the year. The Houston Texans come to town. The Seattle Seahawks come to town. Then they go to Houston. And then the Jags come back to into Tennessee, which potentially could be for the division at that point, depending on what the Jaguars look like. What do you think the last 4 games of their season shakes out as?
1 and 3.
I'll give them 1 victory. I think they'll beat Houston at home. I think they lose all the rest of those 3 games, and they finish the season.
No, 2-2. I still don't trust Houston. Like it's.
All right, so they lose to Miami. That's just
they lose to Miami.
They lose to Miami. They're 6 and 7. Beat Houston. They're 7 and 7.
They beat Seattle. They lose to Seattle.
Beat Seattle.
They lose to
Beat Seattle. Beat Houston. Lose to Jacksonville.
I don't think it's that crazy. I don't think it's that crazy to think that Seattle could come back down to earth this season. Like they way overachieved last year.
I don't. Yeah, they absolutely did. But the one thing you don't want to see if you're a team with a bad secondary is, I don't know, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett walking on their field, bro. Like that's
and they drafted JSN.
And they drafted JSN, bro. Like Kenneth Walker gonna be a monster, bro. Like
and they drafted the kid from Cal or UCLA. That's a pretty good running back.
Zach Charbonnet. Yeah. Zach Charbonnet.
So like, man,
you know
like,
what? I'm gonna change them. I'm gonna change that up, blood. I'm
gonna
take that W from Seattle. I'm just switch it up. I'm sorry. They came in there with a Wendy's 4 for 4, and I switched up on them.
They saving grace that the game is at home, bro. Like that's they saving grace.
That's the only saving grace I was looking at. Yeah, no, that's an L. Seattle's coming in there and wiping the floor with them.
Now, obviously, like
at this time. At this point of the season,
because obviously the game plan the game plan for all these teams this season is, hey, stop that man in the backfield.
At this point of the season, Will Levis is either going to be ahead of the curve, right, or he's going to be behind the curve,
or he's going to be right.
That's a mess. And then
he's gonna be right where he should be, or he's gonna be like he's gonna be the line. He's gonna be right where he could be right where he should be as the season progresses, right?
But other than Treylon Burks, there's no real crazy threat. There's no real good legit threat.
Don't you disrespect Westbrook Ntilikina like that?
I don't want to disrespect him. He's a good role. He's a good 3-4.
That's why getting rid of Robert Woods made no sense to me. That's why getting rid of Robert Woods made no sense to me.
Yeah, so down the stretch, I'm like,
zero sense to me.
Down the stretch, I'm wondering. I'm like, well, what kind of team is this? Right? By the time Seattle comes in, they're fighting for the playoff spot. I'm thinking they're like Derrick Henry's either going real strong like he does, and they can hand it to him and give it to him, or hurt. But they also have Tajay Spears. They also have, Hassan Haskins as well.
Hassan Haskins.
Fall back on.
Yeah, I'm having to lose 3 of those last 4 games. I have them finish the season 6 and 11.
8-9.
I do not have this team in the playoffs.
He said 8 and 9. Oh,
6 and 9. 6 and 11. I think there will be like a couple of games swing here and there. I think they could be in the hunt for a playoff spot, but they're not going to be better than the Jaguars.
I think they go back to back 7 and 10.
Ooh, man, you run off. But see, and the only reason I'm giving them some chances here is because I think that defense is gonna be good this year.
And but then again, that could go both ways, right? So if the offense ain't generating and the defense is constantly on the field, how long before the levee breaks? Like,
We've seen that in Chicago a lot. I mean, we've seen that in many cities where they have a dominant defense. The offense can't give the Jets this most recent season. I mean, they were like, the offense was so inept. They lost the game where they didn't give up any points.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this,
literally, bro.
With the ad,
which also marked the end of Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
I think this is gonna be one of the best run defensive teams in the league.
Man,
in my opinion.
I mean, like that, like
I think Kevin Byard coming up in the box.
I mean, like, bro, like that's fine and dandy. Like, that's fine and dandy. Like, that's great. But I really don't think anyone cares. I really don't think anyone cares that your defense is the best run defense in the league because teams are throwing the
best, but
because teams are throwing the ball 60 times a game. Well, not obviously the best, but I'm not saying them. I'm saying in general. I don't think folks care that your defense is the top ranked run defense because like people throwing the ball 60 times a game. Like at this point, the run game is just another element of. It's just a part of the game.
I mean, it's just used to really open up play action passing.
That's it. Really, like, bro, like it's like really all folks care about. All folks care about is slanging that peel all over the field, bro. Like that's all they care about.
But that's a wrap on our Tennessee Titans season preview. I got them at 6-11. Izzy's got them at 8-9. TJ's got them at 7-10. Let us know down in the comment section what you think the Tennessee's going to
Izzy, I'm gonna need you to get on Packer Twitter and tell them to calm down with the Christian Watson has a better upside than Justin Jefferson talk, bro. I saw that today, and I'm like. I need what they smoking, bro. Like, hey, get
probably smoking on the same shit.
Yeah, but on that note,
I ain't talking about. I'll tell them this right now. I have to see it to believe it in the second season. That's what I'm gonna say.
Justin Jefferson's rookie season was historic. Like I
know, but he also didn't have a quarterback that was being a freaking prima donna all season and wanted clearly out of Green Bay. And didn't want to pass the ball to a rookie until he actually saw what he could do with the ball in his hand.
Until it was too late.
But yeah, this has been our Tennessee Titans season preview. Thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing our mock draft 2.0, including the entire first round.
I just sent it to the group chat. So y'all, so y'all can see it. I saw it, so y'all had to see it too.
But yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow. We're doing our final mock draft before the NBA draft on Thursday. So check out that content. Please like, share, and subscribe. David Huffman, Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins, and gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We smoke that Packer pack.
Bringing that heat, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go.
We smoked that Packer pack.
We'll see you guys all tomorrow. You stay safe out there. Peace out.